We interrupt this transmission to bring you the following live broadcast.
It's Wednesday. It's 6 p.m. It's the ThinkSoJoe Show!
On A&E Radio.
A&E Radio, yeah. According to Lady Laura Moore. Scott Leffler's here.
Joe Kent, how the heck are you?
I'm good. How are you, Scott Leffler?
I'm doing quite well. Dude, I'm so glad that I left early to come here because I didn't realize it, but at some point between the last few days, they turned the 190 into a parking lot.
Really?
It used to be a road. It's not anymore. It's just you go park. I don't know why you would park there, but it was a parking lot.
Wow.
Really weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I got here eventually.
Maybe it's new laws with the new elective officials. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know more about that stuff than I do. So.
A lot of Democrats won yesterday, and they don't like roads and cars and stuff. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe you just you park your car there and you walk. I don't know. It's weird.
Sure. I don't know nothing about that stuff. So I know you were in the trenches last night.
I was.
Saw your post.
I was. I was sitting in my office, eating some pizza, drinking some beer, eating some chicken wings, watching election returns, being happy, being unhappy, doing my thing. Then eventually at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, all right, I got to do some work. So I did the job, and then I went home. And then I woke up this afternoon and went back to work. And now I'm here because, Joe's like, I need a co-host. And I'm like, man.
And Scott, to his credit, is just like, okay, cool, I'll see you.
Yeah.
I'll be there a few minutes before 6.
That's pretty much my standard answer. You ask, if I can help, I can. Sure. I will.
And if anybody's wondering where Karina is, you can go see her tonight at the Evening Star.
Ah.
They've got one of those Greg Rinker tribute shows.
Oh, is that? All right.
Yeah, another one of those. And she is hosting that tonight.
Wunderbar.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a fun show. Our friends, one of Greg Burt's bands, or I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, I'm going to leave because I thought she was going to be here, and if she's not here, then there's no reason for me.
She did leave you cookies for me to give you. So we'll make sure you get those before you leave. See, she says you're on A&E Radio. A&E Radio?
A&E. That's how I read it. It's A&E.
Okay, A&E Radio.
Yeah, it's like alimony, but without the moan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sat around the house all day yesterday. I didn't even leave to get food. We ordered.
Yeah.
It was I'm sitting here should I go vote? And I'm like, I don't it's
you didn't
late.
vote?
It's late already. It's cold. Sake. It's windy. And I guarantee that anybody I would have voted for was either going to win
or lose
or finish with 1% of the vote, which is exactly what happened. Because it's okay, so my vote would not have made a difference at all. And
that's often the case, but you should vote anyway.
And I understand that. I think I was too ill-informed on issues and who was running to go out and vote, reasonably. Oh, she wants you for president in 2020. I announced last week I was running for president in 2020.
No. I have way too many skeletons in my closet to run for president.
Scott doesn't want that responsibility.
It's not the responsibility. I don't want people digging into my past. I have too many exes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of which would say really nice things about me, and some of which would say not nice things about me, and a lot of which would say, that I might have fetishes that the rest of the world doesn't want to know about.
This might be true. I don't know. I can't verify.
What mics are we using here?
These are Nady SCM 800s.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like them.
They're not bad.
Yeah, they kind of look like the Rhodes we use.
Kinda. They're a little smaller.
Yeah.
They're a lot cheaper.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that.
I was shouting out Rode last week on the show. I was pining for a sponsorship without pining for a sponsorship.
Well, if Nick can get a guitar sponsorship,
yeah, right,
we should be able to get a house.
I was on the show last week and talking about Rode microphones and how much I love my Rode microphone and how much I would love to have Rode microphones all around the studio. Just for the podcasts and everything like that. And I also gave a shout out to a guy who has a YouTube channel called Company Man, and he tweeted me after the show.
Nice.
I gave him, I let him know on Twitter, hey, I I gave you a shout out on the show. I actually tweeted to him and to Road Mikes, and he said, "Hey, I listened to the show, and I don't agree with one of the things you said, but I do agree that you need oil for that chair."
When I was doing the feet's not my thing. Sorry. When I was doing the college thing, I had a radio show with a couple of buddies of mine, and one night doing the show, we're like, "Man, we're really hungry. Could somebody bring us pizza?" And like 20 minutes later, the pizza place that was like closest to the university shows up with a pie.
Oh, nice.
Like, sweet.
That's great. That's always fun.
We got yelled at for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Apparently it was unethical.
You weren't actually trying to get somebody, like, you were just...
Oh no, we totally wanted a pizza.
Well, yeah, but you were but you weren't expecting anybody to bring you pizza.
No, we didn't expect it, but we hoped, and it worked.
But you weren't expecting, like I could see if you were like, "Hey, somebody bring us a pizza," and you like meant it seriously.
Yeah, or if we had like had something set up ahead of time, like, "Hey, bring us a pizza, we'll totally give you a free commercial." Like that's crappy, but that's not what we did.
Right.
What are you drinking? Are you drinking tea?
That is iced tea, yeah.
Wow.
It's Lipton iced tea. I'm out of Pepsi.
Oh.
Mr. Coke drinker over here.
I don't even remember what status that was of yours, but that was kind of hilarious.
I don't remember either. I just know you said something about Pepsi, and just all these people start coming at you with, "Well, I drink Pepsi."
Right. Yeah, it was something to the effect of like, we can agree to disagree. And I'm like, I agree with that for the most part. But if you like Apple or Pepsi, I'm done with you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we agree on Apple. I wouldn't use an Apple product.
Which is funny because actually most people in our industry, they're rocking their, MacBooks or whatever.
Well, let's put it this way. I was planning to buy a MacBook, but then I realized how expensive they were, and I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, actually, all right, so the computer that I'm using in my studio, it, I'm going to say it cost me like $1,000, maybe $1,200.
Sure.
Which is not cheap, by today's computer standards. But this thing does everything. Like, it does my laundry. It's the best.
Yeah. It's more than I paid for this thing, and I do video on this thing.
Right. And you did just buy this, though, right?
I did just buy this recently. It's a refurbished unit. So,
right.
But, yeah, it works. It does the job.
Yeah,
I need to get a new graphics card in it now because the new Adobe updates.
Dude, don't you hate that?
Yeah. Oh, well, whatever. I bought a graphics card. It didn't fit. I had to send it back.
I recently got a new phone, and when I got my new phone, got all the apps back on it, blah, blah, blah. And I had to get a new Twitter app because the Twitter app didn't like my phone.
So Mark is sending pictures as usual. He sent pictures earlier.
Right.
So these are all, this was from yesterday. Happy Erection Day. Get your butt out there and vote.
No, wait, it was Erection Day?
It was Erection Day.
I see.
Yeah. And yet
he only sends you backsides.
Only sent back. Yeah, that's true.
Mark, if it was Erection Day, I think you should send Joe some front sides.
Scott is asking you for front sides, Mark. I think
about a week ago or so, he sent me a message on Facebook, and I don't remember what it was about, but it was an image. And I'm like, man, I'm always scared when you send me a picture.
He will occasionally send, pictures of his bird or, just, memes or something like that. But most of the time it's male asses. Yeah, he's still upset that you didn't accept his friend request or something, or message request when we were in your office a month or so ago.
Well, he's messaged me since, so I must have accepted it. But as far as friend requests go, I don't accept friend requests from most people. I keep my Facebook pretty much on lockdown.
Lady Laura Moore, I did once buy a BlackBerry, but it was not for me.
Dude, I miss my BlackBerry. I loved when I had what was this, like 10 years ago, right? It was the shit. But then it ended up just being shit.
Yeah, I bought one for my ex-wife. Ever since I got my first Android, I've never looked back.
Yeah, well, ditto. So I had the BlackBerry. My biggest problem with BlackBerry was that, an app would come out for Android and it would come out for iOS, and 3 years later, BlackBerry's like, oh, maybe we should acknowledge Foursquare's existence. Yeah. Or I think what it was Foursquare acknowledging BlackBerry's existence or whatever.
Right.
But I got sick of oh, that's a really cool app. It's not in I don't remember what the name of their store was, what the BlackBerry App Store was called, but it was never there. It was it's coming soon. And then what really was the thing for me was BlackBerry was releasing a tablet, and it was called a Playbook. And it was really cool. The specs were awesome. I'm like, man, that's going to be sweet. And like they announced it, and like a year later, they still had not released it. And I'm like, you know what? People suck. I'm done. So I got my first Android phone. It was probably it was a Samsung Galaxy .1 or whatever was out at the time. And yeah, I haven't looked back since. But I just got a new Pixel a couple weeks ago, and for some reason or other, the Twitter app that I was using just doesn't like it. So I had to revert to the native Twitter app. And the reason I wasn't using the native Twitter app is because I don't think so. The reason I wasn't the people at home don't get the visual, so they don't know what we're talking about here.
This was from a couple of weeks ago. She sent that picture, and I'm like, "Is that Scott?" And then Mark asked for the picture, so we sent Mark the picture.
Gotcha. No, that is definitely not my ass. Although, I mean, I could picture myself wearing both those pants and that shirt, but right. I don't own those pants or that shirt or that ass, unfortunately. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I had been using this other Twitter app because the native Twitter app didn't allow you to use multiple accounts, but the new Twitter app does.
Right.
So I can use the All West New York Radio and the All West New York News and my own, and I actually have like 7 Twitter accounts, most of which I don't actually do anything with ever. I actually had created a Twitter bot about 6 weeks ago. Well, I didn't create it. I had somebody develop it for me. I gave them all the specs and they made it. And Twitter banned it. Yeah, it lived for about 4 weeks or so, and then I got an email from Twitter that was like, "Hey, you can't do this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But it only cost like $20, so whatever. It was fun while it lasted.
I've got a bunch of different Twitter accounts. The ones I use are the show Twitter, my personal Twitter, and the Board Wrestling Fan Twitter.
Right. And yeah, the only ones I use are my own, at Scott Leffler, the All West New York News one, which is at All WNY News, and the All West New York Radio one, which is at All WNY Radio. I want the at All WNY one, but it's owned by some teenager in Korea or something. And
Great.
Yeah. Same thing with Instagram. I kind of want to change our Instagram to just at All WNY, but somebody else owns it. Cool thing with Instagram, though, is it's really easy to change your name. So I'm just waiting for them to change their name because I feel like they just changed it recently.
Right.
So I'm just waiting for them to change it again so I can jump on it.
That'd be perfect. Yeah. Oh, hey, he sent you one.
What?
He sent you one. There you go. You asked. There you go.
And you clicked on it.
And I figure you might not be able to see it from where you're sitting.
Okay then. Thanks, Mark.
Ask and ye shall receive. And of course, she sends the braid picture.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's funny. I look at these. She's always got these old pictures of you rocking, and I'm like, is that really the same person? Like, I remember this guy. Yeah. This guy that's on screen right now. If you go to Twitter and you follow at Lady Laura Moore, Moore, and you look at her most recent tweet, you'll see that, she just tweeted a picture of Joe from like 12 years ago. And I remember this guy.
Yeah.
But I'm looking to this guy that's sitting to the left of me. I'm not entirely sure it's the same person.
You might be right. I don't know.
I don't know.
The hair was starting to thin then.
Yeah.
No, I don't use the ThinkSoBrain. I was using the ThinkSoBrain Twitter to complain about NFTA after they blocked my main Twitter.
Okay.
I guess they didn't care for me swearing at them. Because their buses weren't leaving on time.
Because the wheels on the bus don't go anywhere.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Karina is not listening. She's not even. But she's part of this group chat.
Right.
And Brian is as well.
Right. Well, I'm sure Brian would appreciate it.
I'm sure Brian will. Brian's probably salivating right now. He's online.
Yeah.
So he's probably salivating at that. We do have a contest that the voting just closed. We asked last week, when you dress up for Halloween, what's your typical go-to style, sexy or scary? 71% voted scary. So out of those 71%, we're going to narrow down who is not playing on Saturday. Well, no, I guess we can... I guess everybody's eligible because we have tickets for 2 separate shows for them to choose from.
Nice.
One is this Saturday at Mohawk Place. That's my birthday celebration.
It's your birthday?
It is going to be my birthday.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
You haven't mentioned it.
This Saturday.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
Since January.
This Saturday, we're at Mohawk Place with Kennedy Carpool of Night and Light, Inherent Vice, and the Scarecrow Show. And then the other set of tickets that you can win, that you can choose from if you win this, That's going to be for November 21st, which is Bravura Dreadneck's Scarecrow Show and On the Cinder at Tudor Lounge the night before Thanksgiving.
Nice.
That's going to be a good show.
Get your Uber.
Yeah. I got 50% off of Lyft between now and November 21st. So
cool.
It'll still cost almost as much as Uber does.
But a lot less than a DWI.
Also true.
Yeah.
Beginning soon, All WNY ThinkSoJoe Show.
That was 15 minutes ago.
That was 15 minutes ago.
That was accurate.
It was accurate, yes.
Yeah. I saw you the other night. It said, beginning soon, my show. And you're like, yeah, right, sure. I think it's funny because I just kind of leave it there. But like, as you know, I do a show maybe every 3 months or so.
Right.
The funny thing is, I'm not going to tell you too much, but I can tell you that I am not in last.
Okay.
Which I'm going to be honest, shocks the hell out of me.
I'm surprised.
I am too.
A little. I'm a little surprised.
Because everyone else does their shows regularly, weekly. They do their thing that like they're supposed to. And I'm like, maybe I'll turn on a microphone today. The hard part, and I'm sure you can agree with this to an extent, is you talk all day and then it's like, I don't want to talk anymore.
Sure. I mean, but that's why I don't do anything before podcasting. Like I had a client like, hey, I sent your revisions earlier this morning. Do you want me to pay for them? I'm like, no, dude, don't worry about paying for them. Just I'm not recording until later.
Right. Yeah. But so I did think that it was kind of funny that like I really expected to be in last. And as of this moment, I am not. Now I will tell you, and I mentioned this before. So I am the only person that knows what the voting is. As far as the All West New York Awards go, voting continues for another 2 days and 5 hours and 44 minutes. The categories that I've really been intrigued by are the Greg Rinker Award,
okay,
and the show host. Those are the two that I've really been following. And the show host has been from the beginning and continues to be within like 1%.
All right.
It's kind of cool. So like if anybody like really, really puts in like a huge like last minute effort, that person might win.
So for you listening right now, go vote for the ThinkSoJoe Show, allwnyawards.com.
Now mind you, I'm not saying who is the first and second, but first and second place are within a few votes of each other. And then there's everybody else, and then there's me. Well, then there's one below me, and like I said, I don't understand how that is, but whatever.
Lady Laura Moore says Corey's winning.
Well, Lady Laura Moore's votes, I've decided don't count because she's not real, and votes can only come from real people.
Gotcha.
So votes cannot come from extras from movies that don't star Macaulay Culkin. Sorry.
I swear that's why she wants us to watch Home Alone 5 is she's in it.
I honestly believe that's true. The thing about it is that we all know that her name's not really Laura.
Right.
And it's definitely not Laura Moore.
Right.
So how would we know?
Exactly.
And the photo of her, like, I think that might be her, but you can't really see her face.
Right.
Which is a shame because she's cute in that photo. But whatever. Whatevs.
But yes, so All WNY Award voting is still open. It's open until midnight Friday, 11:59 p.m.
11:59 p.m. Friday, and then it automatically shuts off. And the nice thing about voting this time around, everything's already computed. Like when it's done, I just like, all right, this is who won.
There's going to be no like having to pay somebody to do work and
right that they don't end up doing anyway.
Well, we tried.
Maybe I should have tried to pay you.
That was ridiculous how messed up all that was.
Dude, I don't disagree. Why do you think I offered you money to do it?
We tried. We worked on it.
But so voting ends at 11:59 p.m. on Friday, and then so midnight on Saturday we will know who won, but no one else will, and we're not going to announce the winners until the award ceremony.
And
which we're finalizing some details on possibly right now.
We might be able to tell you tonight when that's going to be.
We may. I would like to. If we could, that'd be really cool.
It is possible. We're supposed to find out probably around 7:30ish.
So the plan for this year's award ceremony, though, is that it's going to be. So previously, the award ceremonies have really just been a concert where we had certificates that people could come pick up. I want to have an award ceremony, and so we'll have a host, That person will give out the award, and we'll have different people give out different awards.
Sure.
But we'll announce the category, then we'll say who won. Hopefully that person will be there. They'll come, they'll pick up their certificate, they'll take some photos. And so we'll do a few categories, and then we'll have some music by a band. Maybe 4 or 5 songs, but not, I don't want this to be a concert where we hand out awards. I want it to be an award ceremony. I want it to be an award ceremony where there's also music, just like there would be at the Emmys, for example.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And I agree with that. I think that's a great idea.
I have really enjoyed Ryan's take on the awards because, all right, so you and I, we've done the awards a few times.
Yes.
And having been involved in the All Western New York Music Awards for a number of years, I can tell you, without any real, concerns that I might upset you, because I really don't care. I hate them. They're horrible. You can't win. It doesn't matter. It's just they're the worst. We do them because it's a good public service. We do them because, there should be awards.
Sure.
But people bitch, they whine, they complain, they moan. This band should have been nominated. This band shouldn't have been nominated. Why didn't you do this? Why is there no category for best salsa band? Are you fucking kidding me? Best salsa band. Shut the fuck up.
So for the first week or so that voting was open, I was shutting down people who were like, well, why wasn't this band nominated? And then I go through the list, because I've got the list of everybody that was nominated and everybody that we went through and sorted out into the 10 finalists or whatever, and I'll go through the list and I'll be like, well, they weren't nominated.
Right.
You should have nominated
and
them.
So when Greg Burt did the awards, his strategy was to involve everyone. Sure. He wanted literally every band in every category to be nominated for that category. So if you were a rock band, he wanted you in the list of nominees. We went about it differently. We allowed nominees, then we had a committee of 3 to whittle through the nominees and pick 10 nominees per category, and then we put those nominees up for vote. And now whoever wins the vote, that's who wins. Greg's way of doing it, he wanted everybody involved, and so it was just, I appreciate the way he wanted to do it. I get where he was coming from, but it was a logistical nightmare. This has not been. So I've hated the awards much less this year.
I agree.
But we still do get the occasional email of why wasn't my band included? I don't know. Why didn't your fans nominate you?
So at one point on the award voting page itself, there was a comment where somebody said, "Hey, why wasn't this band this band's not nominated? What a joke."
Right.
And I looked up this band and they were a cover band. And I said, well, here's the eligibility requirements. Here's why you don't meet the eligibility requirements. Right. This is why you're not nominated.
Right.
And that comment disappeared. And Ryan messaged us a day or two later and said, oh, somebody said that, why is this is only for underground and we should rename it underground. I replied to that and I told them why, that this is an award for local original music.
Right. The entire Western New York music scene is underground.
Yeah.
Unless you're Rick James or the Goo Goo Dolls.
Sure.
You're underground.
Yeah.
No matter how many so-called tours you've done, no matter how many times you've been to Columbus, Ohio, you're underground. And we have an incredible music scene.
We do.
Which is why we started All Western New York Radio 12 and a half years ago, was to acknowledge the amount of incredible music in Western New York. Sadly, some of the best bands don't get the acknowledgement that they should.
I agree.
That's why we do this.
I agree.
Because we've got bands cover bands, that play relatively large venues, that draw, 100, 200 people. That's awesome. But you're playing Bon Jovi.
Right.
And here's the thing. I'm not musically inclined. I can't play Bon Jovi. So I can appreciate their ability to play Bon Jovi, but that's not local music. And we're about local music.
Exactly.
So.
And that's what that's part of what I've been having to tell people is this is why, your band is a cover band. That's why you're not eligible. Why wasn't so-and-so nominated? Okay, well, I see them in the nomination list, but we are only taking 10 and we didn't think they fit in the top 10.
Right.
So between the committee, they just weren't picked.
And then every year we will get a ton of shade because people will be like, well, all West New York is stupid anyway. You're like, no one's ever heard of it. Oh, okay, I would disagree with you, but you're welcome to your opinion.
Yeah.
So
last week we were trying to make sure everybody.
What do you think of the new hat, by the way?
I like the new hat.
It's pretty sweet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my new favorite hat.
We gave one of those away last week.
With the All West New York on back?
I think it was.
I think it was, yeah.
I didn't.
The new batch has the All West New York on back.
Right. I didn't get a good look at it. I know you threw it to me and I handed it to Karina and we put it in the bucket and.
Cool. Who won the?
It was Peter from Cardboard Homestead and his girlfriend. They were dressed up as Team Rocket.
Cool.
Yeah.
You should have taken some pictures. I would have liked to see some pictures.
I've got some pictures. I just haven't had time to put them up. I was in the middle of an audiobook at the time.
Understood. Yeah, so, obviously we came and popped in for 10 minutes or so, just long enough to have a beer and some cookies, and then we went to another party, and she wasn't feeling well, so we didn't stay there very long, and we ended up watching The Haunting of Hill House.
Okay.
Dude, great show. Starts kind of slow, but it's a great show. It's on Netflix. Do you have Netflix?
I do have Netflix.
Yeah, I thought so. You have like everything, right?
I do.
It's because you're rich.
Yeah, I'm totally rich.
Understood.
That's why I'm sitting here like, am I going to be able to pay rent?
Yeah.
Yeah. So last Tuesday, Ryan messages you. We're trying to make sure everybody's meeting the eligibility requirements. And one of the eligibility requirements is you have to have a song on the station.
Right.
And so you guys come up with a list of who doesn't have songs on the station who are still in the nominations.
Right.
Because we were having some issues letting the bands know.
And we still have had a few issues, but man, the amount of music we've added to All West New York Radio in the past couple months is incredible.
Absolutely. But we were having some issues, spam or whatever, right? So we or we were being marked as spam because we kept sending the same link, the same form to everybody. So you guys sent me last Tuesday a list, and you're like, okay, you guys want to split this up and contact these bands, and I'm on my, as I'm getting this, I'm walking towards KeyBank Center, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, the only thing I'm contacting is my ass to my seat.
Right.
Let's go Buffalo.
Did we win that game? Man, we look so much better this year, though.
We lost in overtime in that game.
We look so much better this year.
Oh, though. For sure. And then they bounced back and they lost to Ottawa and then bounced back and won that 9-2 game.
Right.
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
Fun to watch.
I got an email today from Space Junk because they were one of the bands that we didn't have any music from. I got an email today that said, I got a message from you on Facebook, but I can't find it. He said, but I remember seeing your name. So what do we need to do? And so that has been a problem where we've messaged people on Facebook and Facebook just eats it because Facebook is stupid.
Yeah, I ran into you can't send this message. Crap. All right, whatever.
Right.
We'll worry about this again later.
This is one of my problems with everyone using Facebook as a means of communication is Facebook throttles your communication. Use email. I have clients that want to send me scripts via Facebook, and I'm like, stop it. Send me everything via email. I have everything. If you send me something via email, Gmail tags it, it stars it, it puts it into a folder. I then know everything, and I check all my folders. If you send me something via Facebook, I'm going to assume that it's porn from Mark, and I'm not going and I'm not going to look at it, or at least I'm not going to look at it while I'm at work. I'm going to wait until I get home, and then I'll be like, oh man. I'm going to be disappointed that it's not porn from Mark, so.
Right. Exactly.
Or something like that.
Yeah. I keep getting, I finally, went and put a filter on it, but I was getting all this spam email that had an old password of mine that, got hacked.
Right.
And it's oh, this is your password.
Yeah.
And now I've got, and I've got video of you, as you're watching a porn site.
Yep.
And I'm going to send this to all your friends and family if you don't send me $1,000 via Bitcoin. Yeah, okay, sure, dude, whatever.
So, we recently purchased the All WNY domain.
Right.
I still get emails because I have it set that if you send an email to something other than one that's registered, it just goes to my email. Just in case. It's like the catch-all, right?
Sure.
So I continually get these ones for, I'm not going to say the name, but X at allwny.com. And it's that thing. And it's we know your password. We've got your computer. We've got pictures of you watching porn, and we're going to send and I'm like, all right, so first of all, no. Secondly, so what? It's. I think that we're finally getting to a point where it's just expected. People watch porn. It's okay.
And well, they're saying they captured you on your webcam.
Right.
But so like I was getting those, and I finally put a filter on to stop getting those from my one email address. So I checked the spam folder of another email address, and I was getting the same emails, just without the effort to find an old hacked password.
Right.
Like, it's literally like, hey, I did this, and you got to give me money, or I'm going to do this.
Right.
Yeah, I totally believe you.
Right.
You know, the other guy at least made the effort to find my old passwords on a.
This one says what the password is or was, and like I don't know if it's legit or not, but like.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the one that was coming to me was legit.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I know that password, but like, I know you also didn't hack my shit, so.
Right.
All right, we're gonna play some music. All the music we're playing tonight is from bands playing this Saturday at Mohawk Place. Doors are at 8. First band is on at 9. We've got 4 bands playing that evening. And we're going to kick this particular show off, our broadcast tonight, with Kennedy Carpool. This song is called Jester on All WNY ThinkSoJoe Show. On All WNY ThinkSoJoe Show. I was not paying attention to the time of that track.
That's all right. That's all good. We didn't miss anything.
We did not.
We did not.
We were just figuring out how we're going to draw this contest winner. We had the vote. Sexy or scary for your Halloween costume. It was 15 scary, 6 sexy.
Right.
And we are, so out of the 15 scary, we are later on in the show going to draw a name.
Okay.
And they're going to win 2 tickets to one of my next 2 upcoming All WNY events.
All right. So there's 15, right?
There are 15, yes.
Okay, cool. I've got this.
Scott's got this, apparently.
I'm texting someone to pick a number between 1 and 15.
Okay, cool. And then we'll just count down that number of names.
Perfect.
Works for me. Perfect. There you go. So if you entered this contest, your entry is in the hands of whoever Scott just randomly texted.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is. I'm not asking. I'm just going to let them do.
Don't ask questions.
Your job for
Don't
you.
ask questions. So your birthday's coming up.
My birthday is coming up.
What are you, like 56 now?
I am turning 27 for the 10th time.
Nice.
That is Tuesday, as a matter of fact. But we are celebrating Saturday at Mohawk Place.
Cool.
Second year in a row we're at Mohawk for my birthday. It's gonna be a good time.
I hope so. The last one certainly was.
Oh, the last one was a lot of fun. We had
that was the first time I saw the Dreadnecks.
Yeah, we did have the Dreadnecks on that show, and
they body slammed you.
That's I probably took a Stone Cold Stunner, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't know.
And XM Priory were on that show. Yellow Sauce was a last minute replacement for a band, I remember. And
Breaking Solace, right?
No, Breaking Solace I think was on their first show with us was New Year's.
Was it all right?
And they did the anniversary show with us at Mohawk.
Gotcha.
Which also had XM Priory. So
they blur, man. They blur.
We did a lot of shows with XM Priory. She can't believe you watch porn, Scott. She blames me. But she blames the show.
Yeah, no. So here's the thing. I've definitely been watching porn since before I knew Joe. Definitely not his problem. Oh, it used to be so much harder to watch porn.
Yes, it did.
Like they were like little tiny clips or like GIFs.
Yeah.
Or of course, photos.
And this was all what was happening when I was coming of age, and like, ooh, internet porn.
Yeah, and it is funny. Kids these days don't know how lucky they have it when it comes to the porn.
Or anything else for that.
Because growing up, we had magazines, and usually it wasn't even porn magazines. Usually it was just like a Sears catalog that was, with a risque image. It's like, oh man. Now it's like no matter what you want.
Yeah, it's all right there at your fingertips.
And then one of the whole principles of life is, if you think of something crazy, the craziest thing you can think of the fact that there is a porn parody of that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is all true.
Yeah. A few years ago, I don't know why we're just talking about porn, but whatever. A few years ago, I can't believe I'm going to tell this story. Laura, this is why I'm not running for president. So a few years ago, I had run across a pornographic movie that was a parody of Scooby-Doo. It was hot. I'm not going to lie. Super hot. Now, Scooby was not in the movie.
Okay.
All right. So we're just going to start there. All right. Okay. I just want to point that out.
Okay.
That is not a fetish of mine.
That makes me feel a little bit better.
But Velma was pretty hot. So I'm showing this on my phone to my then girlfriend. Later in the day, I'm talking to a news source because I'm working as a reporter at the time. And I go to show him something on my phone.
Oh, no.
And I open up Google Chrome on my phone and...
That's the first thing that comes up, yeah.
And he's like, is that Scooby-Doo? I'm like, yeah, hold on. So, yeah.
That's what incognito mode is for.
Well,
nowadays, not back then, I'm
right.
sure.
Well, no, incognito mode was a thing back then, but incognito mode doesn't help if you're actually showing someone your phone.
This is true.
Incognito mode just helps so that your girlfriend can't see what you've been searching for on your phone.
This is true.
Right. So.
And right now, Laura's probably tweeting Karina.
All good.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway. So, yeah. Karina's at Evening Star right now. She just texted me, said she wishes I was there, but she's there tonight for one of those Greg Rinker tribute shows. I don't know who's all on this. We're going to find out.
Well, I know you can't hear Karina because you're working, but we wish you were here too. But you're off doing yeoman's work, and that's the important thing. She messaged me yesterday or the day before. Again, days blend together, so I don't remember which. She's like, hey, I've got these shows coming up. Can they be all West New York shows? I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, how can all Western New York help you make these shows happen?
Yeah. I believe
she's good people, so if she wants to do something, like, I'm going to support it. Because like, even without her telling me any details of what she wants to do, I know it's going to be something that I support. There are other people who are like, hey, I want to do a thing. I'm like, all right, tell me in detail what exactly you want to do. Because, I don't necessarily trust everyone. But I do trust you, and I trust Karina. So if you're like, hey, I want to do this thing, can it be yeah, sure, whatever.
Tonight is Digital Afterlife and the Impurity. That's gonna be a fun show tonight over at Evening Star.
Most def.
The show starts in about 20 minutes.
And it's a free show.
If you're listening to us, you have time to get there. It is a free show, yeah.
Does the show start in 20 minutes or doors open in 20 minutes?
It says starts at 7 p.m.
I'm thinking that means doors open at 7 p.m.
Well, I know Karina's been there for a little over an hour now. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I told you about the show I did for Greg, right? Greg Burt, I love you, but man, I almost killed you. I don't remember what show it was, but it was. He asked me if I could do a show for stamps.
Right, you worked the door. That's
right, and I told him, yeah, I'll do it. And it was a fundraiser. So he's like, can you do it for free? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Just whatever I would have charged you, that's my donation. So I'm doing this show, and I think he was like, doors open at 6. So I'm like, all right, I'll get there a little bit before 6, whatever. So I'm thinking doors open at 6. Man, I might actually get out early and like be able to like live my life. First band goes on at 9.
And
like,
doors opened at 6.
Doors at 6.
And I'm sitting here thinking how ridiculous it is that we're opening doors at 8 on Saturday for a first band at 9.
Yeah.
Like
doors were 6, and I'm like, man, Greg.
Which is something we usually do. We usually do an hour before bands. We open the door.
And an hour makes sense, let people come in, buy a drink, whatever, get their spot at the stage. 3 hours, there's just no reason for it. There's just none. So, yeah.
No, I agree.
So as a result, Greg, I have erased all of your votes for any category that you were in. That's not true.
Delete him right off the list.
That's not true.
Never mind, I've been voting for one of his bands.
Yeah.
I've been voting for one of his bands because it's like, I only know the bands that Greg Burt is in this category.
Oh. One of the nice things about the awards is it gives you an opportunity to like, that's a band I've never heard of. Let me check them out, and, one of the reasons we did the whole you've got to have music playing on the station is because we want people to know more bands. Mm-hmm. So we have probably more than doubled our music library just in the last month.
And we had the fun experience of we sat in this like big
palace.
Palace. Yeah. And just did nothing but listen to music all day and say, hey, is this band better than that last band? And we got to hear one of our award-nominated bands, Goblin Hovel. Mm-hmm. That was an interesting experience.
But it was. And you know what? So, like, obviously every band brings their own thing. But that was one that was like, huh, they did that. Okay, that's cool. And I like bands that go for it, that take a risk. They're like, you know what? Maybe no one's going to like this, but we're going to do it anyway. Sure. I appreciate that.
It was definitely a thing. Mark says this is for animal lovers. National Geographic photo of a cougar sleeping in a tree.
Okay.
That works for me.
Yeah. He sent a photo that Joe liked. How nice of him.
Right.
He's an equal opportunity offender.
He is. He certainly is. I've often on the show said, hey, Karina said, where'd you find that picture of me?
All right. We have a winner.
Yeah.
No, we have a winner.
Oh, we have a winner. Okay.
Yeah, you want
to? Sure. Let me pull that back up now because I'm not on that page anymore.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right, bear with me a second, and then we'll pick our winner here. So out of 21 votes, there were 15 for Scary, and out of the 15, one of them is going to win tickets. And what is our number, Scott?
Scroll all the way to the bottom.
All the way to the bottom.
And then go up 2.
Go up 2. So Laurel Clino. I don't know this person, but she's won. All
right, Laurel. Laurel went to Newfane Senior High School.
Yeah.
And she has won tickets.
And I will shoot her a message after the show, let her know she's won, and well, I suppose I could tag her in the post. I don't know. We'll do that during a song break.
If it lets you, because, again, Facebook.
Right, exactly. Well, we'll try it during a song break, because typing during the broadcast.
Talking to Nick Landers yesterday about developing a platform that's, like, just music conversation. Like, think of it as, like, an old, like, forum, like a message forum.
Sure.
With just Western New York musicians. So that we don't have to put up with everybody's politics. So that we don't have to put up with, like, whether or not somebody's boyfriend was mean to them, or whether or not somebody had some really awesome hash brownies. It's just music. I don't know how that could happen, but I think it'd be really cool to do. I would love to do it under the All West New York umbrella.
Sure. There used to be, like, just a message board simply for local musicians.
I mean, it would be super simple for me to just add a forum.
Sure.
Onto the website, but, I mean, I want something that would be mobile friendly. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I would like to see something.
She wants to know where Corey's merch is.
I I don't know. You'd have to ask Corey. Corey, where's your merch? I've created my own merch. Joe's created his own merch. Ryan's created his own merch.
Yeah.
And that's the only merch. Well, no, and
Nick
then
and Dan have done their own merch. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they don't have any Nick and Dan show merch. They just have Exum merch.
This is true.
But they could easily make Nick and Dan. Why don't you guys have merch? You should have merch. But yeah, I don't know why Corey doesn't have merch. I bought him a laptop. I can't do everything for him.
Right. And I might be doing merch for Ryan. Just whenever I have money to buy the stuff to make merch. It's been that tight around here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that you've recently delved into a whole bunch of different things. And I know, Korea's doing the cookies and you're doing the shirts and you were doing,
we're offering vinyl decals, offering t-shirts.
Right.
We're trying to get our costs down on the t-shirts. We were talking to a band the other day about some of their merch and, how we can help them. And they just released t-shirts. They're full color. And they cost them, I think they said like $8 and they're charging $10. And I'm like, you guys are stupid.
Yeah. You're not going to get anywhere on $2 a shirt.
Like that.
Because you're going to eat most of that. Because you're going to give shirts away. Like you'll lose every month. Now look, so obviously there's a whole bunch of All Western New York swag, right? None of which I've ever sold. I just give it away.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to sell it, but who the hell's going to buy it? And mainly I just want people to wear it. Like,
sure.
Get it out there.
You'd be surprised because we've sold some ThinkSoJoe Show merch. So.
I am shocked about that. Well, I think I bought one, so I'm not all that shocked about it.
Right, you did. We sold quite a few at the of Night and Light CD release, not CD release, their tour kickoff a couple of weeks ago at Sugar City.
Cool.
A bunch of people gave us $10 a shirt, and we spent about probably $6 a shirt making them. So,
right.
I think we figured out how to get that cost down a little further. So we're just a matter of having the money to actually put into it now.
Right.
So
maybe one of these days I'll have you make some All Western New York shirts because,
cool.
If we could get them at a decent cost, I'd much rather pay you than, although the ones that I'm getting now are embroidered, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just like the hats.
That I'm not currently doing. I would like to eventually get an embroidery machine and do that. So we're doing it.
You can only do so many things, man.
Well, when you're a freelancer and jobs are few and far between, you find other things to do, I guess.
Shit's dried up, huh?
A little. Not, I've got a... It's funny, I was talking about money yesterday with Karina, and I said, it's funny because we've got, like, from last Friday to next Friday, we've got, like, $340 coming in.
Okay.
And then the 4 days after that, we have $800 coming in.
Right.
This is like this is how things are working. So.
But I mean, generally speaking, I find that like my Fiverr is very, very slow. Outside Fiverr, I'm doing okay, although I was doing better. But well,
is that what you're into? Is big furry guys like Dan Twist?
Yep. Bears and skeletons. That's my thing. So, but yeah, like I find that like Fiverr, like ever since they raised their rates, Fiverr really dried up. Did you see the story that Fiverr kicked some dude off? I can't think of his name.
Yeah. I saw that.
I watched his video about getting kicked off. All right, so I don't know who this guy is, and I feel like I really should. But I love him. He was awesome. I didn't
see the videos. I know he got kicked off. They were saying he was trying to scam people by doing a fake credit card scam video.
Right.
And which was a parody.
Right.
And he got kicked off. I did read this article. And it's like, well, shit, because I probably do stuff like that,
right.
For like, but you can't, you can't reject a job.
I have never rejected a job. And I've thought about like what parameters, there are things I would not do. Fortunately, no one's ever asked me to do anything I won't do.
The only time that I've ever been able to reject a job is if somebody messages me beforehand and says, hey, are you comfortable with this?
Right.
And sometimes it's like, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want my voice associated with that,
Right.
I don't want to.
But so I don't know whether this guy was like lying or not, but apparently he gets $50 a gig. And like, so he's doing like a video, and his son walks in. He was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know Fiverr banned you." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, Fiverr banned you." He's like, "You're kidding." He's like, "Do you know how many orders I have in my queue right now?" And he's like, "I have like 200 orders in my queue at like $50 a pop. They can't ban me." So he like goes to his computer and opens his Fiverr and like, nothing.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh man." He's like, "That's all right. I'll just do it not on Fiverr." And so he's decided to go outside Fiverr and work that way, which will probably make him more money, to be honest.
I would hope so, I'd imagine.
But yeah, but so $50 a gig, 200 in his queue.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's 10 grand.
Yeah.
And like the longest you can have a gig for is 30 days.
Right.
So that's 10 grand a month.
At least.
Yeah.
And if he's just shooting them and sending them,
right?
Because that's what I have is a shoot and send green screen gig,
right?
Which I do a little post processing on because this isn't really the ideal setup for this, but
it works.
I do a little post processing and it works, but it's still, you know, if he's just doing shoot and send, like I shot the video, here's the video, pay me. He could get a lot of those done in a day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just like voiceovers.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Except you got to be more accurate than I think either one of us probably are.
My first gigs on Fiverr, this guy ordered 5 gigs, and like each gig took me like 2 minutes to do. And he's like, "I've got a ton of these," and I'm like, "Send them all now." Like you've got 100 of these, send them all now, because I can do 100 of these in a day. Yeah. It's really not a big deal. He's like, no, I don't want to overwhelm you. I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, overwhelm me. Let me, like, because I'm going to do these 5, took me 10 minutes, and I would rather have more. Nice picture. No, not that one.
Oh, this one?
That one, yes.
Okay. I thought you wanted a better look at this one here.
Your girlfriend, not Captain America.
This guy's a professional knob polisher. Perfect spit shine every time.
Good for him.
That's what his T-shirt indicates. He said that was for you, Scott.
Oh, yeah, Bears really is my thing, Mark. I was joking about the Bears.
Right.
The Bears. That's my old kitchen. As you can tell by the pots and pans behind me.
Do you not have pots and pans now?
Yeah.
Okay. So how would I know that?
Well, no.
Because I've been to that house?
No. My point is that's the you can tell by the pots and pans behind me that it's the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Not that it's my old kitchen, but
I was going to say, I don't.
That's my old kitchen, as you can tell by those, specific pots, which I no longer own, which you know.
Mark says, good, more bears for me, growl.
Everybody's got their thing, Mark. You do you.
But yeah, that does look like you are watching a porn or something.
Yeah, so this is...
You are chatting with Nick and Dan on the Nick and Dan Show.
This is actually 2 XM Priory members, 1 cup. 2 hosts, 1 cup.
Sure.
I do remember back in the day when we had the studio on Kenmore Avenue, during an episode of the Noah's Ark show, I showed that video for Noah and Thumb.
Oh, geez. I could imagine that reaction.
The reaction is somewhere on YouTube. The reaction video is on our YouTube channel.
I will have to find it.
Yeah.
I was watching the YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago. I was watching myself get my head shaved on an episode of Think Metal.
Really?
Yeah, I lost a bet on the Noah's Ark show, and then we didn't do an episode of the Noah's Ark show for a while, and I'm like, guys, can I just do this on Think Metal? So it's
what was the bet? Sports related?
Yeah,
or?
It was a football bet.
Oh.
We used to do football bets every single week on the Noah's Ark show.
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
But hilarity ensued.
Understandable.
I think Kyle from Kennedy Carpool still owes me like he has to drink a extra large Slurpee or something like that in like 5 minutes. I don't know. Bring back brewing with Scott Leffler and a minute with ThinkSoJoe.
I think we should do both those things.
Sure.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think we should do those. I would like, so Corey's show obviously is a 10-minute show that he does every Friday.
Sure.
And it runs at 2 and 6 p.m. 2 and 5 p.m. on All West New York Radio. And I would like to see more of those. It's just 10 minutes of Corey talking about whatever. And they're fun. So, you've got your show. It's 2 hours long. Nick and Dan have their show. Actually, their new show starts tomorrow, right? I think their new show starts tomorrow.
I saw them looking for artists to play on a local music show. So.
Yes. Local is. Did you see me harass them?
I did not see you harassing them.
Well, because someone asked him, like, just local stuff or everything? And he's like, everything. And I responded, I'm like, what radio station is this on?
Yeah, right.
Mostly Western New York radio?
I just miss being able to grow hair. Never mind the braids.
Oh, I can understand that. All right, Thursdays at 6 p.m. Starting next week. Not this week, next week. It's going to be called The Skeleton Closet with Carl Winslow.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, he wanted to do Thursdays at 7, and I said, all the other shows are at 6. Let's do 6. He's like, okay. So The Skeleton Closet is going to be mostly local, but he's going to include some other indie stuff.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
We've got the November 21st show. We've got Bravura from Erie, Pennsylvania. We had Lucky 33 we played, I think, last week because we had them on the Halloween show.
You took shit for that.
Well, did I really?
Yeah.
I don't recall taking shit for that.
Oh, yeah, because somebody's like, oh, look, an all Western New York radio show with a band from Central New York.
Yeah, a band from Central New York that we were featuring on an event.
Right.
And we do that from time to time. We like to, we just had Young Heezy here from all the way in Western Canada.
I think it's great that Ryan's doing shows. I really was kind of disappointed I didn't get out to that show.
That sounded like a good one.
Yeah. I think it's so between you and Ryan and Karina, we've got like a show a week now. Like I can't even keep up.
Jeez, I can't even keep up.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with my own shows, let alone I knew she had this thing tonight at the Evening Star that she helped put together, and that's how I was able to message you a couple of days ago, like, hey, Brian's sick and Karina's working.
Yeah, and like I said, you need help, I'm here. So I made my way through the parking lot, stopped and got some Tim Hortons, remembered where you live. I don't know why every time I come here, I can't remember exactly what house is yours. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep walking until something looks familiar. So then I'm walking up on your porch and you stand up. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, I have that effect on people.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, apparently Mark found the video.
Cool.
So maybe that's I'll have to check that out later, I guess.
Yeah, probably not now.
Probably not. But
although we did do it live, so
yeah, right.
You could if you wanted to. It's not like you really have any rules.
I don't,
which is nice.
This is true. I don't have pretty much any rules other than don't fucking play anything ASCAP.
Right. Do you have a Rubik's Cube thing?
I do have several Rubik's Cubes.
I've noticed. All right.
You'll notice they're all solved, too.
Well, they come that way.
Yeah, but I can solve them.
Oh, I cannot. Do you remember the Rubik's Snake?
No, I do not.
No? I loved the Rubik's Snake. It, I don't know.
So we were on the way to, we went to see Nonpoint in Rochester, and we stopped at a rest stop, and the last time that Karina and Allison had gone to a show in Rochester, they stopped at the same rest stop, and she got like this little frog thing that sticks to the window. I don't fucking know what it was, but she wanted to find another one because it burst on her.
Oh.
So she put like $2 in the machine, and she came up with 2 Rubik's Cubes, 2 mini Rubik's Cubes. The first one I broke before we even got to the venue. The other one is still in one piece, and I was using it the other day.
Cool.
So there's that. But yeah. So yeah, I was collecting Rubik's Cubes for a while. Well, I have 2 regular Rubik's Cubes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Buffalo Sabres, a New York Yankees, a San Francisco 49ers, and a Super Mario themed Rubik's Cube.
Cool.
So
I don't really collect anything. I have no collections.
I don't have room to collect anything, but you see I got some Funko Pops around this.
I have a bunch of puzzles, like different kinds of puzzles, like wooden puzzles that you take apart, put back together, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Which is kind of Rubik's Cube-y, of course, but I don't see them and I need to add this one to my collection. I don't know.
No, I really don't do that either. I just kind of accumulate things.
So
I just sold a bunch of WWE figures on eBay, like $100 worth of WWE figures.
Back in the day when I was married, we had in our kitchen, we had like a roost or something. I don't remember what it was, but my then wife's grandmother decided that we really liked roosters. So she like bought us like all this rooster shit. Like everything rooster, she sent us one of. I was like, dude, really? And then my sister, I had mentioned offhandedly that I really liked this Thomas Kincaid thing. So for like the next 4 years, like for every birthday and Christmas, I got something Thomas Kincaid. And it's like, stop. Please.
All right. So this Saturday night at Mohawk Place, doors open at 8 o'clock. First band is on at 9. As a matter of fact, I think this might be the first band. We were working on that the other day, and I don't remember. But this is Of Night and Light, and this song is called Arson on All WNY ThinkSoJoe Show.
Grab the gasoline and the matches too. Follow your heart straight towards everything you've loved. Oh, and pour the gasoline over everything. Light a match and just let go. Burn it down, burn it down, burn it down. All you long to the ground.
WNY ThinkSoJoe Show.
And we're back.
We are back.
It's the ThinkSoJoe Show on All Western New York Radio. I'm your co-host. My name's Scott Leffler. Now it's time for a Casey Kasem long-distance dedication. I'd like to send out a shout out to my friend in West Seneca. It's lies. I don't have any friends in West Seneca.
Is that the voice you used when you were actually on terrestrial radio back in the day?
No. The voice that I used on terrestrial radio was this one. But I did work with a guy who would do that. Like you and I are talking and we just do our thing, and then he'd talk like this. Hey, how you doing? But as soon as the microphone, he'd go, and we're back. Let me tell you about this new business. And it's like, dude, my ass hurts when you do because obviously he had to scrunch up his ass cheeks so hard just to make that sound. And yeah, nice guy, but the radio thing drove me. I'm like, dude, why? Stop, cut it out.
See, I've listened to some of your videos, and when you do the videos, you're straight up you, and you sound just like when I talk to you.
Right.
When I do videos, I'm like a little over the top.
Right.
And I can't seem to get that whole neutral thing down. I try, and I've had people no, just talk like you talk in your podcast. Dude, I can't do that. I'm not talking to anybody.
Right.
I'm reading from a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
It's different than when I do podcasts, they're always live, and I'm always sitting right next to somebody, or in the case of Board Wrestling Fan, we're having a conversation over Skype.
Right.
It's way different than having to say. But if you listen to my videos are top 10.
But so your videos, you sound very professional. I imagine you wearing a top hat when you do. I'm
I do own a top hat
because I listen to I watch some of your videos, and I listen more than I watch, of course.
Sure.
And I'm like, man, he really I expect him to ask for Grey Poupon any second.
That's I'm not that good. Oh God, Van Venom. I was just telling Scott about Van Venom right before we went on the air, because I did 2 videos in the guise of Van Venom last night.
Right.
For a channel called Wrestling is Life.
Right.
And God, I hate doing those videos.
I have one client who slows my narration down, and it really messes with me. This is my normal voice. I'm talking about, and we found this thing and blah, blah, blah. And he slows it down. So and we're talking about, and here's the thing. And slows it down.
My very first voiceover I ever did, the guy did that.
Really?
Very first one. I found the video, and it's here's 5 things that oh man, why'd you do if you wanted it slower, just ask. I will slow it down.
Right. And
pitch correct it and everything. I got in my inbox right now, I've got a revision request. A guy wanted it slower.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so I didn't do it last night because fuck this, I'm going to bed. And at this point it's okay, do I want to slow it down and actually read the whole thing again?
It depends on how much they want it slowed down, right? If somebody's oh, this is only 3 minutes and 14 seconds, I really wanted it to be 3.5 minutes. I'm like, all right, I can do that. We can digitally do that. But if they're I really wanted it to be 5 minutes, you can't do that. No. So you just got to redo it.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. After the show, I'm gonna get some work.
I have had clients do that. They're oh, so here's the script. I really want it to be 5 minutes long, and I write the back, and I'm like, then write more. Because there's no way it's going to sound good if I try to make that 5 minutes long.
I get the opposite. I want this in 30 seconds. Okay, write less.
When I was on terrestrial radio, I get that all the time. Because every business wanted, you gotta say my name 3 times, plus the address, plus the phone number, plus the website. Oh, and list all the specials. And I'm like, you bought a 30-second ad.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, there have been times where they're oh, can you get it in 30 seconds? And then I will read it as fast as I possibly can.
Right.
And I'm I cannot read this any faster, and if I speed it up, it's going to be illegible. You're not going to understand a word of it. So, this is the best you're going to do with the script you've got.
Right.
I don't know what more to tell you. The one that I did, the $100 30-second ad I did that I was telling you about, I had to do that. Because I figured it out to be 35 seconds. And she was like, can you get it down to 30? I said, yeah, I could probably get it down to 30. And I had to do it 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. And finally got it, and I sent it in, and she was like, it's perfect, and paid me. All right, good.
when I started doing Fiverr, I expected to do a lot more radio ads. I expected a lot more 60s and 30s. I did not expect to do every channel on YouTube.
Between you and I think we do every single channel on YouTube.
Just about, yeah.
If we haven't, if we're not the actual voice, we've probably guessed it.
Yes.
Which is true of wrestling channels for me. I guessed it on WrestleMania a few times. Of course. I do Slat Rock. I do Wrestling is Life. Somebody else had sent me a wrestling script at some point too, and I was like, okay, sure, whatever.
Every once in a while, I tend to follow all of my clients on YouTube.
So do I.
For the express purposes of like sharing their stuff on my Twitter, just to, get it out there. And so every once in a while, like a client of mine will like post a video, and I'm like, who's that? That's not me.
Yeah.
They broke up with me and they didn't tell me.
There's one of my clients, the channel Trendmax. Every once in a while I'll go on there and I'm like, I didn't voice this one.
Right.
But at the same time, they're still sending me like 3, 4, 5 jobs at a time, and it's like, oh, okay, well, as long as I'm still working for them, I'm okay.
Right.
But like, yeah, we did. But they have 2 guys now, I guess. So they have me and another guy, and it's like, all right. So now when I go on there, before I hit I have to make sure it's me.
Ditto.
Or before I retweet.
Ditto. So one client of mine. So I used to do 3 videos per day for him, and now I'm doing 6. So he's running 6 videos per day of me. Plus, he's got a female voice artist, and so like when I'm listening, I like listen and like every once in a while I'll just listen to hers because she sounds really hot, and I'm sure she's not. Like she probably looks like that dude there. Well, no, not that. Well, either one really. I was talking about the dude on the wall.
Oh, Colt Cabana here.
Whatever that is. Yeah. So she probably looks like that, but like she sounds hot because you usually like by the voice you're like, man, she's hot, but then usually they're not.
Right.
Yeah. Usually, like, it looks like your mom, like, after she had the flu.
The reason I follow I have a separate account for voiceovers, and the reason I do is because I follow all my clients, and when I like their videos, it comes up in a playlist.
Right.
And the playlist is on my website, tsj.digital, and you can go there and see, like, all these videos.
Digital?
Digital.
That's cool. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. tsj.digital, and you can go there, and I have a playlist of like all of these videos that I voiced, and it's set so that the most recent one that I liked is the first one, and it goes back. So like you're hearing what I sound like now, as opposed to
is that directly through YouTube or through IFTTT?
The playlist is through YouTube.
Right.
It's a playlist of all of my liked videos.
Gotcha.
So there's that, and then of course, I also on my website I have that demo that you helped me out with.
That was cool. You did a good job.
I signed up for Audio Blocks and I haven't used it since, so I might unsubscribe.
Did you do monthly?
I did.
Yeah, I did the yearly, and I love it.
See, I have since added in, like, I will add background music for like $15 or whatever.
Right.
And also, I think I've added, I'll do background music on my video services too.
Right.
But nobody's buying them, so.
My problem with that is, like, even at $15, like, it takes a long time to find a track. And so, like, you can do $5 worth of you can do $15 worth of narration in a few minutes. To find a track takes longer.
Sure.
So, like, I usually try to dissuade my clients from picking music. Like, I'm like, no, it's cheaper if you add the music yourself. So because I don't want to take the time because it's not worth the $15. Because I'd rather just get right onto the next script.
I understand completely.
Something was just up in the corner and then disappeared. Did the show start?
Somebody,
Yep.
Karina's live now, yeah. So yeah, the Evening Star show is starting now. If you're at the Evening Star, you can wave and say hi, and we won't see it because we're on the air and not watching videos because we're professionals.
Right. Although, like, you can see right now that I'm giving you the finger through the microphone. Look right into your phone and you can see it.
I can vouch that Scott is indeed giving you the finger through the microphone.
True story.
It is true.
So what else is going on in your life, man? I feel like it's been a while since we've talked. Because like I saw you at the Halloween show, but literally that was like a couple minutes.
Yeah, that wasn't
like
long at all.
We took a picture and I bolted.
Just been going to hockey games, and that's doing voiceovers, and that's pretty much it.
It's not a bad year to go to hockey games. It's a horrible year to go to football games, though. Well, unless you're going to UB games.
Well, I mean, I am highly considering paying $6 to go see the Bills play the Dolphins.
I wouldn't, honestly, I would not go see the Bills for free. They would have to up their game seriously. They would have to become a decent football team, because just the frustration of like parking, getting to your seat, all that stuff alone, that's like more frustrating than the value of the ticket possibly could be worth. So the experience at the game would have to be pretty awesome.
But you're speaking from a Bills fan standpoint.
No, it would have to be a good game.
Okay, I got you.
You know, like it wouldn't necessarily have, like, I don't even know how to do this. Like it could be two other teams, but it would still have to be a really good game for it to be worth all the hassle of parking and watching people jump through tables and all that shit.
I got you. I just saw like $6 tickets. I'm like, I've never been to an NFL game, so this might be the time to go when the Bills absolutely suck and people are selling tickets for $6.
Yeah. It would probably be a decent time to, if that's on your list, knock that off your list. I see the NFL's playing 4 games in London next year.
I haven't paid any attention to that. I'll take your word for it.
Like, I don't know. Are they going to change the name of the league? Like, is it going to be the IFL?
Could be.
Because, like, what nation? Like, if it's the National Football League, why are we playing games in London?
I mean, why were we playing games in Toronto?
Exactly. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I don't know. I'm paying attention.
Although it's the National Hockey League and it's U.S. and Canada.
This is true.
So, I don't know.
And it's always been U.S. and Canada. It's not,
right.
It's like,
see, it's the National Basketball Association.
Sure.
Like, they're all national, but they're all international.
They expanded into Toronto.
True, they did expand into Toronto. Whereas, no, with the NHL, it's always been the U.S. and Canada.
Right.
All the way back to the original 6. It was an international hockey league.
I'm pretty excited. I think I might be going to the game on Tuesday against Tampa Bay. So that's we've already seen him play Vegas this year. We saw him play Calgary.
Very cool.
So Tampa Bay I saw last year, but I'll gladly see him again.
Nice.
If I'm not paying for it, I'll see any game.
I have not been to a Sabres game in like a year and a half. I didn't go once last year, and I have not yet been this year.
We need to remedy that.
We should probably do that.
Yeah. I'm also hoping to hang out with Ryan from Shambles and go to a game, and I think Tyler from On the Cinder was in on that conversation too.
We should just find like the cheapest game possible and just like buy all the tickets on StubHub. Well, not all the tickets, but like a dozen, and like we'll just all go and try not to get kicked out.
You know what I did last week is I was having trouble buying tickets through StubHub.
Okay.
It was giving me an error message, and I tweeted them, and they said, okay, DM us, and I DM'd them, and they're like, well, we don't know what's going on. We'll get back to you. And they never got back to me, by the way. But I went on SeatGeek,
okay,
which is another secondhand ticketing app. And because I always watch a YouTuber, his name's Brian Zane. He does a channel called Wrestling with Regret, and I always watch his channel, and he's always like, oh, our video is sponsored by SeatGeek, and you can get X amount off with this promo code. And I'm like, well, shit, let me do that.
Right.
And I went on there, and we went to the game for $21.
Cool.
After fees.
Nice.
So it's like, it was, we were 300 level, which is fine.
Well, there's no bad seat in there. That's the nice thing.
I prefer the higher up seats, especially in the corners.
Mm-hmm.
I was 2 rows off the ice, in the corner. Sabres shoot twice side at a game against Ottawa a couple of seasons ago, and I couldn't see anything when they got to the other end of the ice. So I was like, oh man, I got to look up at the scoreboard. Usually
I'm sitting center ice above the 300s.
In the press box.
In the press box, yeah. So yeah, there's really not a bad seat. But it's kind of cool that like StubHub and SeatGeek and all those things like are okay now. Like it's funny just think about like just a few years ago, like how difficult it was to buy aftermarket tickets.
For sure.
And like what a pain in the ass it was. And you had to go to the game, and there's the guy out front with the sign that says, I need tickets, and you're like, oh man, that's a shame because I need tickets. And then he flips the sign over. He's like, I have tickets. It's like, cool, because I want tickets. Then he's like, $100, and you're like, fuck right.
I don't want tickets that bad.
Like, yeah, but like now you can get them, and like it is really cool because it leads to more games being more full because people are like, oh, like I can't go to this game. And usually it used to just be like, I can't go to this game, and they just wouldn't go.
Sure.
And now it's like, I can't go to this game, but I will get $20. And it's like, all right, so that's cool.
So it's like, this was my first time using SeatGeek, and I'm like, I don't know. You know, like I always use StubHub. I know StubHub's policies, and I'm like, all right, you know, I'm going to try SeatGeek, and they have the same policy, which is if you buy a ticket from the site and it doesn't get you into the game, they will get you into the game.
Really?
Yeah. Basically, they will get you a seat of equal or greater value. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to trust this, and I got in fine. There was no problems at all.
Where they just scan your phone?
Just scan the phone, yeah. So, but yeah, we're supposed to be going, I guess, to see Tampa Bay on Tuesday. Be a fun game.
Cool.
Hopefully the Sabres will keep up some of the momentum that they've had. I know they lost this last game, but
one thing that does frustrate me with StubHub and other similar services is they're like, here's a show that's upcoming in Western New York, and it's like, I don't know, like the Sex Pistols at Madison Square Garden, and I'm like, fuck you, that is not Western New York, you know. Yeah. And it's like I get that a lot. And who else is it? Spotify. They're like, here's shows coming up in your area, and it's like, this is going to be in Barrie, Ontario, and I'm like, dude, like, no.
So I use a VPN, and a lot of the time my computer thinks it's somewhere else. And so, like, I'll go on Google Play, and it'll be like, here's some music from a band that's coming to your area. And I'm like, oh shit, those guys are coming to Buffalo? And it's like, they're playing in Chicago on this day. Like, oh fuck, that's right. My computer thinks it's in Chicago.
Right. Yeah, I can see why that would be frustrating. My phone does that sometimes. Like, it's funny. So I've got like the Google location thing. So my phone always knows where it is. But every once in a while, like, you look in ads and you're like, here's a new law coming to, somewhere in New Jersey. And I'm like, why does my phone think it's in New Jersey?
So I was having this problem with, I love the TV show Gotham.
Right.
And I used to have to leave home at 8:30 to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be in the middle of watching Gotham, and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to watch the rest on my phone. But the problem that I would run into is that the Fox app would tell me that I was in, like, Glendale, Arizona.
Right. And so it's the wrong time.
And so I can watch Gotham, but I can watch it in, like, 3 hours.
Right.
So I'm, I'm tweeting to Fox, I'm tweeting to, like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And I come to find out it's actually my service provider.
Right.
Their IP address is in Arizona. Apparently that's part of, like, throttling for, like, higher use customers.
Right.
Which, of course, having a 3-hour bus ride every night, I was.
Isn't it so nice not to have that anymore?
Oh, I was just thinking about that the other day.
I almost went in there the other day just to say hi, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. Because they're going to try and talk me into working there. And I don't want to work there.
I was hanging out with John last week.
Yeah?
Yeah, we went, hung out on Elmwood. We do that once a month or so. We were just a couple of days too early before Revolver Records opened their Elmwood location.
Cool.
We walked by, of course. And, oh man, why isn't it November 1st yet? But yeah, he was like, oh, I should text Scott someday. I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Sure. Actually, I've been meaning to stop in and say hi to Surinder, because like Surinder always followed me, so like we developed a pretty good rapport. And like when I quit, he was the person that seemed the most upset.
Sure.
So he's like, well, you got to come by and like we'll just have some beers. And I'm like, all right, when it slows down, I'll do that. So like one of these nights, I'll stop by with like a 6-pack or whatever. We'll get drunk and and not pay attention to the guests that aren't there.
I keep getting updated on like how things are going there, and like, oh, it's just not the same since you and Scott left, and we got this new girl, and she doesn't do anything, and she got fired already, and then we got another new girl.
So I do drive by there on a somewhat regular basis. There used to be this girl that worked in housekeeping who I was totally into. I think I've mentioned before.
Yes.
And so I drive by there. Her car's never there, so I'm like, oh, she must have quit. But
yeah, I don't miss working. Like I was talking to somebody last night, and they were saying, oh, most of I know so many people who work in hotels. I said, well, you grew up in Niagara Falls, I know you don't live there anymore, but most of your friends are still in Niagara Falls. And most jobs in Niagara Falls are hotel jobs, and they don't drug test.
They're hospitality jobs. Like Niagara Falls is a tourist-based community, so they're hospitality in some manner or another.
And they don't drug test. So everybody in Niagara Falls works in hotels.
I never considered that part.
Some of the nights I've had in Niagara Falls, I have definitely understood why some places in Niagara Falls don't drug test.
But no, so I don't miss being there, but I miss some of the people that were there. Like, there were cool people there. Well,
I mean, really, I see you on a somewhat regular basis. I see John once a month at least. The only person I really miss is Suk, our old boss.
Suk was is a very cool dude. I haven't talked to him in a while, so that's why the past tense. But no, Suk is a very cool dude. The other day I actually ran into Ron and Sandy. You remember Ron?
Yeah.
Ron worked nights and then he just quit, and that's how I ended up getting stuck working there like practically full time. Right. So I ran into him. Him and Sandy are both. Sandy's his mother. Both working at Tops, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm good." They're like, "You're still at the hotel?" I'm like, "No, I ended up having to quit." Blah blah blah. And they're like, "Oh, and we hated it there." Blah. I'm like, "I didn't hate it there.
I didn't hate it there. I just hated getting there."
I do. Well, I can understand leaving here at 8:30 to get there at 11. Yeah. I hated making $12 an hour when I knew I could be making 50.
Also true.
That was my big thing. Was like every hour I was there, like I'd get a request from, hey, can I get this quick? And I'm like, dude, I can't get it to you for 6 hours. And they're like, oh, all right, I'll find someone else.
Yeah, that was always a big deal. Was like, oh shit, man, I got to finish this job, but I have to go to work. Right. And so do I want to keep working for, like you said, 12 something an hour, or do I want to, make, significantly more sitting at home? Right. And, I chose to make significantly more sitting at home. And I was telling Karina yesterday, I have one client who I do regular work for, and he was paying me $500 and something bucks a month. And I'm just like, there's my rent right there. What the hell do I need to go to work for? And then as soon as I put in my 2-week notice, I didn't hear from the guy for a while. Right. And I'm like, oh shit, maybe I made a mistake here. And then he messaged me. He's like, yeah, we had some turnover with the staff. I'll start sending you scripts again really soon. And true to his word, I've been getting at least, somewhere between 3 and 5 a week from him. So cool. Hey,
yeah,
pay my rent.
I picked up a new client the other day, and it's not a large client, but it's, it's $25 a month or $25 a week. That's $100 a month. That's my cell phone and my internet. Yeah. And that's you just got to do the math. All right, it's not a ton of money, but it adds up. And so all right, so this client pays this bill, this client pays this bill, this client pays this bill, and this client pays for the cocaine. Or, for other people, not for me. Right. But yeah.
Yeah, I've unsuccessfully tried to move that client off of Fiverr so I could be like, okay, dude, I'll give you 10% off.
I've tried that with a couple of clients. They're like, no, we like it here. I'm like, why?
Well, I've tweeted him and I've sent him a message on YouTube and but none of his stuff is manned. Basically, his Twitter is only here's here's our latest video. So it's all automated. It's nothing, nothing's, I'm sure they're on YouTube, but probably not checking their messages. Right. Just, we're going to upload the video and then we're going to go order some more voiceovers.
I have one client that I do, it's usually 3 or 4 videos for per week at $100 a pop through Fiverr. And then we had moved off Fiverr. And I was like, sweet, because they were still paying me $100. So that's a $20 raise. And then they started ordering through Fiverr again. And I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I've got, I had one of my clients was like, oh yeah, here's a long one for you. Okay, cool. And I did that. He's like, oh, here's another one. You don't got to do it right away. So I did it right away. And I'm like, yeah, I need the money, dude. Right. And he sent me another one the next day. He's like, at this point, you'll be able to afford a mortgage. I'm like, funny you should say that. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's kind of the point. That's what we do here in America.
That's what I want to do because I want to get a 2-car garage that I can use as a studio.
The funny thing is I have no desire to have a mortgage. I don't want a house. Actually, so it's funny. Rosemarie Loreni, posted a thing on Facebook the other day. Her mother has an apartment kind of around the corner from my office.
I saw that.
For rent. And I'm like, oh man, I kind of wish I was in the market, because like it looked like a pretty decent place. It's not the best neighborhood, but it's not a bad neighborhood.
Right.
And the price wasn't bad. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, blah, 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 blah. Like, but then I'm like, no, like I've got it pretty good right now. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing right now. But eventually the goal is I want to live in an apartment in DC above a convenience store that gets robbed at least once a week. That's my goal.
And this is how Scott is going to start his rap career.
Yeah, totally. And then I've got property in Ohio. I want to build a summer home in that. But the plan is to live somewhere a little more urban than I live right now. Because right now I'm in suburbia and it's killing me. So, and unfortunately, I mean, it really, rather than killing me, it should have been you.
And Should Have Been You is the name of the next track. It's from Inherent Vice, who you can see this Saturday night at Mohawk Place. I should do that with the echo, shouldn't I? This Saturday. Anyway, Inherent Vice, All WNY, ThinkSoJoe Show. Inherent Vice, Should Have Been You on All WNY ThinkSoJoe Show. These guys are coming out of self-imposed exile to play for my birthday show on Saturday. I saw them at Music is Art, and they said, yeah, this is the only show we're playing until next year.
Cool.
And then I was like, hey, I need one more band, and they're like, hey, we'll do it. Like, all right, cool. Glad to have you on board.
Yay. Cool. So the show at Mohawk Place
Yes.
for your 56th birthday.
Yes.
It's going to have these 4 bands,
Yes.
3 of which we've played so far.
Yes. And
The fourth one we'll play in half an hour or so.
This is true, yeah.
Less than half an hour. So doors at 7?
Doors are at 8.
Doors at 8. Sorry, doors at 8.
Doors
Show
at
at
8.
9.
First band is at 9.
And you're buying everyone's first drink. Did I hear that right?
No, that is not accurate.
I heard that though.
No, that's not true.
I think it was on Fox News.
Fox News is fake news.
No, I'm fairly sure that's not true.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Dying.
Scott is literally dying.
I am. Well, we all are in a strange manner, but
Yes.
yeah.
But I regardless what Fox News said, I am not buying everybody's first drink.
So apparently I'm going to Mohawk Place Saturday. Stop and get some pizza on the way. That's like my typical, like, going to Mohawk, gotta get pizza on the way.
Sure.
Because I park in the parking lot right across from Casa de Pizza.
Right.
And then I just...
And Casa de Pizza is great.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
It's amazing. Like, the first time I ever went there, I was hanging out with the dudes from Diceros. And Nick Landers was there.
Right.
But he didn't come to the pizza place with us. It was me and some of the dudes from Diceros skipped, like, the first 2 bands of their show and went to have pizza.
Well, the neat thing about Casa de Pizza is you walk in, it's like your traditional pizza parlor. We got the little counter there and a couple like tables, and like you go there and pick up your pizza. Fine, whatever. But like if you have time, they've got the back room, and you go back there and there's all these tables, and it's like a real restaurant, and there's a bar, and it's like, and the food is really like their pizza's good, but like their everything else is good too.
I've only had the pizza, but I can vouch for the pizza being good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah. Allentown Pizza is really good if you're ever going to
Love
Nietzsche's.
Allentown Pizza.
If you're ever going to Nietzsche's or anywhere else on Allen Street, I'm sure some of our listeners go to other places on Nietzsche's on Allen besides Nietzsche's.
Right. Yeah. So actually, like right that corner there's Allentown Pizza, and then there's Jim's across from that, and then Casa de Loca is right there, and that's like that place is incredible.
I haven't had that. We did end up at Jim's a couple of weeks ago. I think I told the story last week on the show. We didn't want to go to Jim's
because you were sober.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's because there's no like you go to like going to Jim's Steakout sober is just it's not a thing.
No, so we wanted to go. We didn't want to go to Jim's, but we were on Chippewa, and Mighty was closed. We just missed them by like 5 minutes. This is a Monday night.
Is there a Ted's on Chippewa now?
Ted's was closed. Ted's closes at like, I think like 6 or something on weekdays.
Right.
Like they close ridiculously early. And we're like, okay, well, we don't want Jim's. It's like, all right, let me Google Allentown Pizza. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, it's open till midnight. And we got over there at like 11:30 and they had been closed for a while.
Don't you hate that? And
it's just like, well, might as well eat at Jim's. We walked all the way from one Jim's to another to eat at fucking Jim's.
Yeah, so there's a place on Pine Avenue in Niagara Falls that I've been trying to try, but every time I go there, they're closed. But like it says on the door that they're open. Like you see their hours, they should be open, but there's no one there. And like I've been there 3 times and I'm like, all right, I'm done. There was a place slightly down Pine Avenue that was similar. They had dollar slices. And I would go there and I'd get my dollar slices, and they weren't the best slices in the world, but they were $1, so they didn't have to be. I liked them very much. The problem was that over time I'd go there and no one would be there. They wouldn't be open. I wouldn't know why. And then like the next day I'd go and they'd be like, oh yeah, we had a thing and blah, blah, blah. All right, well, whatever.
This is a thing in Niagara Falls because John and I were talking about this when we were hanging out last week. We were talking about the pizza oven.
Right.
Over on, was that on Niagara Street or something, right? Like, they're never fucking open.
Right.
But their pizza is so good.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. But so anyway, but like I'd go to this place and then eventually they just closed. But like closed.
Right.
So now this other place started offering dollar slices. So I'm like, cool. So, but like I've gone there 3 times. All 3 times they've not been open. I'm like, so what's like, hey, we have dollar slices, but we're never open.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kind of ridiculous, but that's a Niagara Falls thing, apparently.
So typically what I'll end up doing is I'll get pizza from Frankie's.
Okay, yeah.
Frankie's Donuts. They've also got like pizza and other stuff.
Right.
And And they've got a deal. It's like 2 slices of pizza and a Coke for like $3.50 or something like that. And it's not good pizza, but it's pizza. I've
had Frankie's Pizza. Frankie's used to have a separate pizza place. Like, it was in the same building, but it was like next door.
Okay.
Which Frank Sr. ran the donut shop and Frank Jr. ran the pizza place, and then I don't know what happened with the pizza place, why it ended up like now they're selling the pizza in Frankie's Donuts. I don't know what happened to make that happen, but it used to be. In fact, that was also not Jocko's. Ventry's? I don't know.
No, Ventry's is on Pierce.
Yeah, no, I can't think of the name of the place.
And Ventry's is decent. Ventry's has slices for $1.25. But usually, like, I'll go there and I'll be like, hey, can I get 2 slices? They give me 3.
Right.
And so, and again, they're not the best. But when you go a place and you're like, can I get a slice of pizza? They're usually not the best.
And I will vouch for them not being the best, but I'll tell you what, their customer service is great.
Well, and they're definitely worth the price. You know, you're not going to get the best slice of pizza for $1.
No, but they take care of you though.
Yeah.
And it's just, I remember one night I was in Niagara Falls for whatever reason. I wasn't working, but I was in Niagara Falls, and I went back to the hotel, and John was working, and John had ordered he had a coupon for a free pizza from them. And he's like, hey, do you want some of this pizza? They're like, yeah, sure, I'll hang out with you till it gets here. And we were standing there for like 2 hours.
Really?
Before they got there. I don't know if it was like, it might have been a busy night or something. I don't know what the deal was, but it took 2 hours for us to get the pizza. Not a knock on Ventry's, but because they are really, the only place open that late in Niagara Falls for food.
You ever get subs from Mariposa's?
No, I don't think so.
Are you familiar with Mariposa's?
I've heard of it, yeah.
All right, so it's a sub place on Military Road, in the town of Niagara. Been there since like I was a wee child. And they used to have like a full menu. Well, now apparently they only offer steak and cheese subs, and they're only open from like 10:30 to noon, Monday through Friday. But like you go and like they'll hook you up like that. So Mike Randall from Channel 7 had posted something on his Facebook a couple weeks ago about like, hey, went to Mariposa's, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I didn't know they were still open. So I popped in the other day because I happened to be awake before noon, which is irregular. But I popped in and they're like, yeah. So I'm like, hey, so like, do you have a menu? And they're like, no, we just do steak and cheese. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll get a steak and cheese sub. So I got it. It was decent. It's not what I remember, but it was still pretty cool.
I still, to this day, if I'm in Niagara Falls and I'm... Viola's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Anytime I have to go to the Evening Star for anything, I'm hitting Viola's. Like, yeah, let me get that steak and cheese. Yeah, oil.
Do we have any upcoming shows at the Evening Star?
We're trying to put together something, not a show at the Evening Star. We're waiting to find out about that. But no, we don't have anything upcoming as far as shows.
But there is one going on right now.
There is one going on right now. So if you're in Niagara Falls, you can head over to the Evening Star.
And go to Viola's on the way.
It is Digital Afterlife. It is the Impurity. Make sure I guess you can use the ATM at Viola's, but they only take cash at the register.
Yeah, that's the real reason I don't go there.
That's stopped me from going there a couple of times, or I'll walk over to Wegmans, buy a pop, get cash back, and come back.
That's not bad. Like I'll do that a lot. Like I go to Tops and I'll literally buy a Coke and then get money like it's an ATM because that pays the ATM fee. Because I don't have, I'm not getting money out of the bank. I'm getting money out of my PayPal card.
Right.
So if I hit an ATM, I've got to pay the ATM fee.
Same here.
So if I'm going to have to pay an ATM fee, I might as well just go to Tops and get a Coke.
Exactly. I do that all the time.
So when I go to a place that doesn't take credit card, I'm like, man, I'm sorry I'm not using your ATM. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And I know several business owners, they're like, well, it's really expensive to take credit. Dude, it isn't that expensive.
We were talking about this not too long ago because we were talking about getting like one of those Square readers or something.
Right.
For when we're working the door at Stamps.
Right.
Because like you've got change in your thing, but you're charging $5. And nobody carries cash.
Right.
So they go to the ATM, they get $20 out. Now you've got to go get change again from the bartender.
Right. And that $20 cost them $23.
Right, exactly. So now they're paying $8 to get into a $5 show because they didn't bring cash.
Right.
Whereas, if we were to have like a Square reader, and this is why I don't understand why businesses don't take credit cards, because like it's nothing to get a square reader.
Right, and then the fee is like 3%.
Yeah.
So you lose 15 cents on $5, or you could lose the whole transaction because, I'm sorry, I don't go to places that only take cash.
Right. And
actually, so I've had business owners who have said, like, oh, it's really expensive, you know. All right, so you're going to pay 15 cents on my $5 order versus me paying $3 for that same $5 order.
Right.
You know, because the ATM fee is $3 no matter how much I take out. So it's $3, like it's going to so it cost me $8 or just charge me the extra 15 cents.
Yeah, right.
I'm totally cool with that. That's fine.
Right. I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah.
And we've had that discussion because we've been talking about like ways to streamline our door process instead of like you have to hand me $5, but then we're eating the $3 because we got to go to the ATM so we can pay the bands.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, obviously the other option would be to just have the money ahead of time, but that would require a level of forethought which we are not accustomed to.
And you're absolutely right. But like now, if I know I'm going to Niagara Falls and I know I'm going to Evening Star, I'll make sure I have cash so I could go to Viola's or whatever. But most of the places I frequent just have the square readers. They don't even have like traditional credit card terminals.
Right.
Like this ice cream place on Main Street called Jerks. They've got
that's next to Masuda Chow's.
Yeah, right over in that area. They've got the card, the square readers with the tablet and all that shit. But
have you been in Masuda Chow's yet?
I have not.
You totally got to go.
I've been getting coupons for the place, and I haven't had a chance to go yet.
So Masuda Chow's, for those of you who don't know, it's so the bottom floor is a Japanese bar and restaurant, and then the top floor is all video games and pinball machines. So the row of pinball machines, though, is there's a Metallica machine next to a Megadeth machine, next to an AC/DC machine, next to I don't remember what the fourth band is, but it's 4 bands, pinball machines in a row, and then there's like The Walking Dead and something else. But like, so there's these 4 bands in a row, and I remember I sent you a picture when I was there.
Did, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like I found your video, I found your pinball machine. You're like, yeah, I played it.
I played it at the Strong in Rochester. The McKinley Mall has an arcade, right? And
you remember when every mall had an arcade?
I do remember when every mall had an arcade. That was my childhood. But the McKinley Mall has an arcade. It's a okay, arcade. And I'm like, all right, cool. But I never have cash on me.
Right.
So one day I went there and I had like $20 cash on me. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna go to the fucking arcade and I'm gonna play some pinball. And I go to the token machine, and there's a sign on the token machine that says the pinball machines only take quarters, and they don't have a quarter, like a change machine. They only have the token. So I want to play pinball. I don't want to play any of the other crap they got here.
So back to Masuda Chow's, their machines are all hooked up to an app, and you can pay through the app.
Perfect.
And so like you put like $5 into your account, and then you can just use that at any of the machines.
Yeah.
And then when you're out, you just add more money in your app.
Like Lasertron doesn't take coins in the machines anymore. You use your card. Dave & Buster's is the same thing.
Right. I haven't been to Dave & Buster's in forever, but I went to Lasertron actually a few times a couple months ago.
Yeah, well, they got that deal now where you pay X amount of dollars per month and you get...
Well, yeah, so you go there and it's like $18 for the day, or it's $20 for the month. Yeah, give me the month. Thank you.
Right, exactly. And when you get the month, you get half an hour free access to the games or something like that.
Every time you're there.
Yeah. And you get 3 attractions a day, 2 attractions, 3 attractions, something like that a day with this $20 deal, which was great. And we signed up for it. My buddy knew he wasn't going to use it because he was going back to Saudi Arabia where he's teaching. And I should ask him what he thinks of that whole situation over in Saudi Arabia. Now that I think about it. But yeah, he was going back. He was leaving the next day to go back to Saudi Arabia. And I'm just like, well, maybe I'll use this, and I never got around to use it.
But in worst case scenario, you wasted what? Literally, it's like $2 more.
Yeah, like $1 or $2. It's so smart to just pay the extra.
So yeah, worst case scenario is you waste like $2. I think we went to, I think we went there like 3 or 4 times.
Well,
so it ended up costing like $5 per visit.
And you know what? It also makes up for the cost, and you get like drink discounts,
Right.
and stuff like that, and the like free play on the arcade and all that. So like you're like even if you're just there the one day, you're getting your $20 worth.
Yeah. I looked into while we were there, like how much to rent it out for like a lock-in, and it's not in our budget. But I thought it'd be really cool to do an all Western New York lock-in.
It'd just be cool to just have all of us who are able to play go.
Right.
Because I'm sure there are at least there's at least one of us that's not able to play. That's Karina. Karina's, not able to, unfortunately. But it'd be great to just all of us just go and hang out and get some bands and stuff to go with us too.
Remember we used to do Rock and Bowl at Kenmore Lanes?
I was never a part of that, but
All Western New York used to sponsor Rock and Bowl at Kenmore Lanes. There was a band, and it was like Moonlight Bowling.
Cool.
That was pretty cool.
I think I might have been there one of the nights, but not realizing what was going on. I think I was on a date.
Oh, and then there used to be like a Grand Prix track. I don't remember where the hell it was, but we used to do shows there too. We used to do shows at like the weirdest places.
I played,
and I don't even remember like how these things got set up. Like I was in charge. I clearly set this up. I don't remember.
I played a show at Fast Freddy's.
Yes, that was the place.
It wasn't an all WNY show, I don't think. It might have been.
But so we did used to do shows there, though.
Right. Well, we did a show there one night. It was in the middle of a blizzard, and we're like, nah, we're not canceling the show. And so literally it's us and the other band, and we're playing for each other, and then we all did go-karts afterwards.
Right. Yeah, we used to do Fast Freddy's like once every 2 months or something like that. We used to do Kenmore Lanes like once every 2 months. I'm thinking Ryan has to have had set this up. Ryan Keller.
Right.
Because I know, I don't know that I didn't, but I don't remember doing so. It's just like now, like we've got shows, like I missed shows that I didn't even know were happening. I'll like read something on Facebook and be like, oh, All Western New York had a show yesterday. Cool. Wonder how that went.
Yeah, they're coming fast and furious with these shows between me and Ryan and Karina, all putting them all together.
Yeah. Which, I think it's awesome. And the thing that I really think is awesome is that, like, the three of you all have slightly different musical tastes.
Sure.
So, like, no matter what your style of music, unless it's country, the odds are you're going to be able to find an All West New York show that you like.
And we try to do different stuff, too. It's not like we're just sitting here like, all right, let's book another punk show. Like, we will try to do shows like we had this, we called it a dance party with, like, Days Ago and Strange Standard. And,
right.
A couple of weeks ago, that was a really fun show over at Nietzsche's. And we try to do different things. Of course, the next few ones, we got this hard rock show coming up Saturday, and the hard rock / punk show on New Year on the day before Thanksgiving, and then a ska show in December and a punk show first week of January. We're doing. It's crazy. I have two shows. The first week of January, we have the New Year's Eve show, of course, and then on January 5th, Saturday, January 5th, we've got some bands coming up at Tudor Lounge that we're working on putting together, which is that's gonna be an all-out punk show, I'm sure.
I still want to do some super secret acoustic shows at the studio.
I would be down for that.
Where like you have to win tickets, like where there's only 15 or 18 tickets, and you have to win tickets.
I'd be interested in that. That'd be great.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure we could get artists. It wouldn't be a problem, because artists are all about what we're doing. They're all
I've actually had two bands that have offered to do it, and both bands have then broken up.
Oh, great!
So I'm a little afraid to ask anyone else.
Great. Scott's office is cursed.
Well, there is that possibility.
I mean, we had Yellow Sauce in your office, and then the next thing you know, Bob Paul died.
How does a banana even die?
I don't know, but rest in peel, Bob Paul. Rest in peel.
So obviously we do have a bunch of shows coming up, including Saturdays, which is your birthday show.
Yeah.
Which should be a lot of fun because, they tend to be.
They sure do, especially these Mohawk shows. We like to we bring the fire with these Mohawk shows, I think. I think mostly because it costs us more to rent Mohawk than any other venue.
Well, you know, Mohawk is really a good venue. And there are a lot of great venues in Western New York. And, of course, best venue is one of the categories in the All Western New York Awards, which continues for another 2 days and 4 hours and 5 minutes.
Vote ThinkSoJoe Show.
No, don't do that.
Yes, do that.
No. Here's the thing.
No!
Don't vote for the ThinkSoJoe Show. So I mean, Mohawk is a really great venue, and I think it's really cool that we've been expanding the venues that we do. We seem to be at more and more places now, which is kind of how I want things to be. So
we've had some unique venues that we've been at, and we're going to keep expanding in that, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm still booking at the same 3 venues. You know.
But I mean, one of the nice things about having more people involved in doing the shows is that so you've got your contacts. Ryan's got his contacts. Sure. Karina's got her. So, like, the more people we have involved, the more things we can do because we've got more people with more contacts.
Absolutely.
And then we just all grow up into, like, one big happy family.
Absolutely. And I'm very happy to be back at Tudor Lounge on the 21st. We were supposed to do a couple of shows there in July, and things we had a bit of a miscommunication, and things kind of fell through. And
scheduling accidents happen.
That's cool, because the one night I was supposed to book was the night of the Vanilla Ice show.
Ding, 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 ding.
Where I ran into Scott.
Yeah, it was a great show.
It was fun.
It was so much fun.
We left after Ice Ice Baby and actually went to the show that was happening at Tudor. And then a couple of weeks later, it's like, are you guys doing a show this week in Tudor? Like, no.
I thought we weren't. You said we weren't. You said we couldn't.
Well, he to his credit, he said, I assume you're not doing a show because I didn't communicate clearly. Yeah, you're right. I'll help you. But
did you do that thing I didn't ask you to do? No, I did not.
But that's how we ended up with November 21st in this great show we've got coming up with Bravura and the Dreadneck Scarecrow Show, who we're about to play. And, of course, On the Cinder, who we had a great interview with over at their studio a couple of weeks, a month or so now ago. But yeah, we're going to get out of here, and hopefully we'll see you all Saturday night at Mohawk Place. This is a tune from the Scarecrow Show. It's called Succubus on All WNY ThinkSoJoe Show.
See ya.